Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome along to this week's SFL Media Conference. Today we have Corey Jetson from Claremont and Jeremy Parker from New Norfolk. Jeremy, welcome along. First edition along to Media Conference this year for yourself.
Yep.
How do you perceive that your club's travelling year to date so far?
Yeah, there's obviously positives and negatives. I guess the negative is that we're sitting with only 3 wins on the board, 2 games out of the 5. Obviously, we want to be up in the 5 and pushing for that. There's been a few close games that we've lost that haven't been able to do, which is disappointing. But I guess the positive thing, we're a pretty inexperienced side, and to see the improvement from the team from the start of the year leading up until now has probably been the positive things. And I guess our leadership group's been really good. They've supported our younger guys, and for those guys to start developing and start learning the way we want to play and be more consistent with it, it's been really, really pleasing.
I noticed last round result against Lindisfarne, scoreboard wise, was a much improved performance. You wasn't far off the mark.
Yeah.
So that must have been a real positive.
Yeah, it was. Again, we always want to win, and not to win the game was disappointing. But yeah, the positive thing was that we kicked 8 points in the second quarter straight. They kicked 2-7 in the first quarter, so they won the first 2 quarters, and we won the last 2. But obviously, it wasn't enough to win the game. But to be 30 points down at half time, we were missing sort of Marcus, and who's our key forward, and Josh Farrow, who's our key centre half back. We also lost Jacob Wigg in the first 10 minutes of the first quarter as well. So to be 30 points down at half time against one of the top sides, and they could have quite easily, I guess, thrown in the towel, but to fight back and to be with 16 points at 3/4 time and then get within 5 points of the last quarter, I was really proud with the boys' efforts.
Yep. Obviously, you've had a big role to take on this year, taking over a team that's been in nearly every grand final for the last umpteen years. But through a loss of a number of experienced players from that grand final team to retirement and other things, how have the young players and what are the key young players that have stepped up to the mark this year?
Yeah, there's been a lot of young players come through the side, and the majority have, and even the premiership players that we've kept are still very young as well. So their step up to leadership roles has been really good, been pleased with that. But the young guys like Josh Farrow, as I mentioned before, he's 18 years of age and he's holding down a centre half back position for us, and taking on, I guess, the opposition's best forward every week. He's been injured on and off, but to have him back in the side this week is going to be pleasing to us. You got the likes who played Reece Franklin, Jaden Milton as well, been really good for us. Josh Hills, who come back from a stint at Norfolk, he's only, I think, 18 years of age as well. He's been really good on ball and down back for us too. Jordan Eisel was his first year of footy. I think in the first 6 games we had 13 guys that played under 10 senior games of footy. So, and these guys obviously starting to get more experience now. So, majority of the side are young, but improving. And there's quite a number. I can't think of all of them off the top of my head, but a lot of them have been really good, and as I say, the improvement's been noted. So
it's obviously been good to have the other experienced players that have had that grand final experience around those young players.
Yep. Yeah, definitely, and it was hard for them as well. Obviously, Norfolk's been a very successful side for a long time. So I guess those guys have played in successful sides, so they've had to adapt as well and sort of change their, I guess, running patterns and the way they play their game to try and adapt to the way and to actually, I guess, get behind the footy more and help out the younger guys as well.
So this week, meeting Claremont at home. 2 clubs have obviously been arch rivals for a number of years now, having been both at the top end of the ladder. I think Claremont's probably struggled to bore you over the history of the journey. New Norfolk really needs to win this game this week to maintain that touch with the top 5. How's the boys going to achieve that this week?
Yeah, good. I guess the first game where we lost the first game, we gave them a really good start, and Claremont at home with a really good start really hurts. And down there they sort of beat us a lot around the footy. They had a lot of numbers around the footy, and I guess we let them run. We weren't very accountable. So this week, obviously, we're going to be a lot tighter around the footy, a lot more contested possession. I say a few key players back in the side as well, and hopefully we should get a good start and put the score on the board early. And I heard reports that there's going to be rain and hail potentially in the afternoon on Saturday, so I guess score on the board early is going to be a key factor. So
the bitter cold at New Norfolk wouldn't hurt the New Norfolk boys.
I might see some of that out there, I reckon. So.
Thanks, Jeremy. Corey, obviously Claremont suffered first loss of the season last round to Signet. How have the boys reacted to that?
I think it's sort of a reality check that, you know, the rest of the competition is right there, and if we slip up or if we don't come to play on the day, then yeah, we're going to get done. So it's a good wake-up call for the boys, really.
Yep, I believe you may have had a few injuries in that last round, either losing players during the game or pre-game. Any of those boys back this weekend?
Yeah, so we've regained probably 3 or 4 of the senior players that have been injured over, say, the last 4 to 6 weeks. Probably still got the same amount to still come back in, but we'll sort of drip feed the boys back in as we go.
Yep. You heard me comment earlier to Jeremy that traditionally Claremont struggled at Boyer. How do you plan to, as a club, turn that around this week? It's
good ground up at Boyer. I mean, we've just got to go up and sort of create our own environment. I know the crowd loves to get involved. It's a great rivalry up there, so we've just sort of got to create our own atmosphere up there and try to overcome the boys up there. It's always tough, so.
Yep. Again, Claremont's blooded a few young players of recent weeks. How are those boys going?
Yeah, so that's the best part. We've also had a pretty big turnover of players over the last 12 months or so. So yeah, we've got a lot of young players that really stepped up and they're doing a great job for the team this year. So yeah.
Some of those players are?
So we've got young Jeremy Percy, he's been rucking a lot with our number 1 ruckman out. So he's been doing a great job. Nick Davis and Ryan Smith have been doing great shutdown jobs down back for us when we've had some backline injuries early in the year. You got a few other young boys that are really doing a good job. So
yep, that's good to hear. Competition this year seems to be reasonably even. You guys sitting out on top with 9 wins, down to New Norfolk in 7th on 3 wins, but there's not much separating those teams in between that. No. How have you found the competition from a player's perspective this year?
The competition's great this year. I mean, you go into every week and you really don't know what the opposition's going to bring to you. I mean, there's teams that are lower on the ladder that have really put it up to us this year, and there's teams that are right with us that it's been a great contest. So you never want to go into a season given a lot of teams that touch up really every week. You want to have a good game, you want to have a good competition. It's great where it's at.
Yep. And just one back for Jeremy, first year coaching in the SFL. Jeremy, you played previously in Premier League days, and I think you might have did a bit of running up there for the boys last year, but had some time away in the old Scholars. How have you seen the SFL competition in 2018?
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's very even. I think every team on its day can come up and get a win, which from what I've seen hasn't been the case in the past. So yeah, everyone's got to turn up on the day to really play the game and be switched on. And for us, I guess we've struggled to put more than 2 quarters together. If that's the case, you probably lose more than you win. So you've really got to come in. You've got to play your 3 or 4 quarters to win a game of footy, and that's healthy for the competition for sure.
Well, good. Thanks, boys.
Thank you.